Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna and welcome to all the devotees online. Thank you very much for your continued association as we associate with Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 8, verses 15 to 33. Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. Om Gyanatime Vandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasme Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uthaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Paritanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnavadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Pastata Starine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sarva Shastra Payusha Sarva Vaireka Satpala Sarva Siddhatna Ratnadya Sarva Lokai Tritparata Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kalidwando Didaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita O Srimad Bhagavatam O Nectar ocean of all Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, O you enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world, O light breath of the Vaishnava devotees, O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga, you actual Lord Krishna who has returned amongst us. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshasharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namastute, O Srimad Bhagavatam, offer respectful obeisance unto you. By reading, one attains transcendental bliss. For your syllables rain pure love good upon the reader. You are always to be served by everyone for your incarnation of Lord Krishna. Madeka Bandhu Mad Sangim Mad Guru Mad Mahadana Mad Nishtaraka Mad Bhagya Mad Ananda Namastute. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer respectful obeisance unto you. Sadhu sadhu tadainatini chochataraka hanamunchagata chinmam premna ritkatayospura. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O give us saintly Mr. Saint, uplift the very fallen. Please do not ever leave me. Please become manifest, my heart and my throat, accompany pure love of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Yutonvayaritaratascharte Swavignaswarat Tene Brahma Hidayadi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatrati Sargom Mrisha Damna Swena Sada Nirasta Kokam Satyam Param Dhimai. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because the absolute truth and the primal cause of all causes of creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations and is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge under the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by illusory representation of water seen in fire, land seen on water. Only because of him, the material universe is temporarily manifested by the reactions of three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent, transcendental abode, which is forever free from illusory representation of material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Prayanaupasya sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyopadrita. O learned one, in this age of Kali, many but short lives are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above always disturbed. Narayanam Namaskritya Narachevam Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance to the person of God in Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasa, the Bhagavata. Savai Pumso Baro Dharmo Yato Bhaktira Dokshajaya Haitukiya Pratiyata Yayatma Suprasiddhati. The supreme occupation dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayat Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahitukam By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Vedanti tattva vidastatvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabhyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman Paramatma Bhagavan. Shru Shru Shoshadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Shevanat. Go twice upon sages by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice. Great service is done by such service. One gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Shranvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Reddantastoya Bhadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam. Shri Krishna, the person of Godhead, who is Paramatma, Super Soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor, the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment. From the heart of the devotees develop the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtues and properly heard and chanted. Nastaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Mitavastokir Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtiki. By regular attendance on the class of Bhagavatam and by rendering or service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the person of Godhead, who is praised or chanted in the song, is established as an irrevocable fact. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Vyam Swadharmam Parinishtaya Janmalava Paramam Pumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duties to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Akama sarvakama va mokshakama udariditivreena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether it be full of all material desires, without any material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We continue Srimad Bhagavatam based on the teachings of the Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Hare Krishna, and welcome back after a long break. Anyone has any feedback or questions that you can remember from our last session? If not, we will proceed. So we're going to be continuing. We did from 1 to 14. We are hearing the creation, manifestation of the creation, and how Brahma is born on the lotus. And now we are going to hear about how Brahma responds to his environment. From 15 to 23, Brahma's birth and his search for the absolute truth. And 24 and 33, beautiful darshan of Lord Garbhadaksai Vishnu. Text 15. Talloka Padmam So eva Vishnu Pravi Vishat Sarva Gunavashabam Gunavapasham Tasmin Swayam Vedamayo Vidartha Swayam Bhuvam Yam Smavadanti Sobat. Into the universal lotus flower, Lord Vishnu personally entered as the Supersoul. And when it was thus impregnated with all the modes of material nature, the personality of Vedic wisdom, whom we call the self-born, was generated. Purport: the lotus flower is the universal Virat form, or the gigantic form of the Lord in the material world. It becomes amalgamated in the personality of Godhead Vishnu in his abdomen at the time of dissolution, and it becomes manifest at the time of creation. This is due to Garbhadaksai Vishnu, who enters into each of the universes. In this form is the sum total of all the fruitive activities of the living entities conditioned by material nature. And the first of them, namely Brahma, or the control of the universe, is generated from this lotus flower. The first-born living being, unlike all others, has no material father, and thus he is called self-born, or Swayambhuva. He goes to sleep with Narayan at a time of devastation, And when there is another creation, he is born in this way. From this description, we have the conception of the three: the gross Virat form, the subtle Hiranyagarbha, and the material creative force, Brahma. So, creation is not just an explosion, but we are hearing systematically how creation actually manifests with the involvement of Karandaksai Vishnu, his expansion, Garbhadaksai Vishnu, his expansion, Chiral Vishnu, and then we have the Virat form, we have the subtle form called Hiranyagarbha, which is basically Garbhadaksai Vishnu, and then we have Lord Brahma. All these personalities are involved in creation. 16. Tasyam Sachambo Ruhaka Nikayam Avastito Lokamapasyamana Parikramam Yoni Vrita Vivrita Netras Chatvari Lebe Nudisham Mukhani. Brahma, born out of the lotus flower, could not see the world, although he was situated in the world. He therefore circumambulated all the space, and while moving his eyes in all the directions, he achieved 4 heads in terms of the 4 directions. So this is how Brahma's got his 4 heads. He appeared as 1 head, and then as he's looking at the universes, going around the universe, just turning his head, developed his 4 heads. 17. Tasmad Yuganta Swashanavagug Gurna Jalor Michakrat Salidad Virudam Upashrita Kanjam Ulokatatvam Natmanam Ada Vidad Adideva. Lord Brahma, situated in that lotus, could not perfectly understand the creation. The lotus or himself. At the end of the millennium, the air of devastation began to move the water and the lotus in great circular waves. Purport. Lord Brahma was perplexed about his creation, the lotus and the world, even though he tried to understand them for 1 millennia, which is beyond calculation in the solar years of human beings. So here we see the first created being who has 4 heads, 4 CPU power. We just got 1. Even that may not be used fully. Brahma's got 4 CPU power, 4 brains, 4 heads. And even he could not understand his purpose, the creation, the world. What to talk about any other living entity within this creation? It is impossible. Impossible. The scientists can practically tease their brain and speculate for an infinite number of years. And they will never, ever come to the conclusion. Just consider, if we do not have the Bhagavatam revealing creation, which is the truth, who in whether it's a sane mind or insane mind would be able to come up with this type of theory? It seems like there's a great personality in a coastal ocean. From his pores, bubbles of universes manifest, and in that universe he expands and lies on the like goes into the universe, perspires half the ocean, half the universe filled with his perspiration, and on while on there is the lotus sprouts and four-headed Brahma born. Nobody's going to come up with such a theory. It's impossible. It's beyond the mind. And here we see Lord Brahma, who was the first living entity, even he was perplexed. What to talk about everybody else? So Prabhupada then says, no one, therefore, can know the mystery of the creation and the cosmic manifestation simply by mental speculation. Impossible. And therefore, every theory that is there is practically going to be some concoction or some limitation, some inferior speculation. The human being is so limited in his capacity that without the help of the Supreme, he can hardly understand the mystery of the will of the Lord in terms of creation, continuance, and destruction. 18. Ka esayo sav aham abja prishta etad kutovabjam panan yad apsu astiyad dastamt iha kinchanaidat adishtitam yatra satanubhavyam. Lord Brahma, in his ignorance, contemplated, who am I that am situated on the top of this lotus? Wherefrom has it sprouted? There must be something downwards, and that from which this lotus has grown must be within the water. So there is Brahma. He has manifested himself on this lotus. And naturally, he knows he's sitting on the lotus. So if I'm sitting on the lotus, I can conclude that there has to be a stem and there has to be some sort of foundation where the stem is coming from. So I'm sure if I go down, I should be able to find the stem. So this is how he concluded, because everything is dark. It's very difficult to understand. He's trying to figure out what am I doing here on top of this lotus? Where did this lotus come from? So naturally, he's trying to understand his scenario and situation, because until and unless we don't understand our source, our origination, our focus, our purpose, why are we in existence, then it becomes very difficult to endeavor on a direction that will fulfill the purpose we are existing. It's like having any technology, like having a computer, and there was, I don't know, years ago, I think before joining Krishna consciousness, there was this movie, I can't get the name, where somebody threw a Coke bottle and it fell into an area where there were like Bushmans, and they thought this Coke bottle came from some source, higher source, and they're trying to figure out what's this Coke bottle all about. It's like a mysterious thing, can make sounds, etc. So like that, if we have a computer and I have no clue, somebody just drops, the gods must be crazy. Thank you. Right. So somebody just drops a computer on my lap and I have no clue what it is. It'll be very, very difficult to effectively use that computer for its designed purpose. The natural inclination is, oh, I have this computer, or well, I have this thing. What can I use it for? I'm going to relate it to what I'm currently doing. And let's say I'm a chef. I like cooking. So immediately I'm going to think, it's a nice cutting board. And I will use it as a cutting board. Because I do not have any further information. So knowledge about our existence, about our source, is very, very important and foundational for growth, for fulfillment, etc. So here Brahma is also, he didn't just think, okay, let me speculate what I need to know. He's intelligent. He's trying to understand. I need to understand, why am I here? What is this thing that I'm sitting on? Where is its origination? Prabhupada, its purport. The subject matter of speculation of Brahma in the beginning regarding the creation and of the cosmic manifestation is still the subject matter for mental speculators. The most intelligent man is he who tries to find the cause of his personal existence and that of the whole cosmic creation, and thus tries to find the ultimate cause. Therefore, Prabhupada is now making that very clear. The most intelligent man requires some intelligence to say, okay, I need to understand, where did I come from? What am I doing here? Where do I need to go? And then make plans. If his attempt is properly executed with penances, and perseverance, it is sure to be crowned with success. So it's not going to be an easy journey, especially in the material world, because there's so much speculation. Whereas in our case, we're fortunate, we don't need to speculate. It's reduced the consumption of energy, time, and the most important thing is, if we understand the position of Bhagavatam and have faith in the Bhagavatam, we can then understand that we are getting the truth and nothing but the truth. And when you have the faith and you are learning the truth from the Bhagavatam, it will provide a deep level of satisfaction, a deep level of fulfillment, a deep level of enrichment, a deep level of wisdom, a deep level of the proper vision and perspective, a deep level of confidence in what we need to do, without any anxiety, without any confusion. We will have clear clarity. And we have our foundation in terms of the creation is very, very comprehensive. You will not find any other scripture covering all traditions as exhaustive, as conclusive, as the most authoritative to help the living entity in its journey of perfection, as well as giving the living entity understanding of so many facets of where they are in this material creation. What to talk about the spiritual world. So we should not take the wisdom that we are getting, the knowledge that we are getting from the Bhagavatam cheaply. There are millions of souls that are confused, that are frustrated. and that will become more and more frustrated in this world. Why? Because the foundation of wisdom, of knowledge, in most cases doesn't exist. Whereas at least for us, we have a clear understanding. Just like we may also be confused about our duty. Well, we're no special, we're not any special souls, like we're not special people that we shouldn't be confused. If Brahma, the first being, is confused, if it's happening for the first being, it's going to happen for every living entity. They're going to be confused. But through Brahma's life, we can also learn how to resolve that confusion. Just like, how was Brahma born? Brahma was born on a lotus. That lotus came from the abdomen of Mahavishnu or Garbhadaksai Vishnu. So now just try to extend it. How or why, if somebody had to ask the question, why did God decide to create life, newborn, is linked to the mother's umbilical cord, with the abdomen? Like, what was God thinking? How did that happen? Well, if the first living entity is linked to the abdomen by the lotus, like the umbilical cord, then every other living entity follows suit. It's interesting. Otherwise, God could have made, Krishna could have made it in so many ways. Krishna could have just said, okay, there's pregnancy, and then immediately the child pops out. Or, just floats out of the sky, out of the womb and into the sky, and, ready. Krishna could have designed it in infinite number of ways. But he decided to design it like this. So the first living entity is born like that, every other living entity is born like that. Similarly, the first living entity is born in ignorance, in confusion. Every living entity is born in ignorance and confusion. And then the journey of trying to understand, trying to gain knowledge, trying to now know what to do is there. 19. Sa itam udviksha tadaj jadnalam nadi virantar jalam avivesha narvagatas tatkara nala nabim vichin vams tad avin tatadja. Or Brahma, thus contemplating, enter the water through the channel of the stem of the lotus. But in spite of entering the stem and going nearer to the navel of Vishnu, he could not trace out the root. So now, here we see a unique lotus. It's described that all the planets in the universe, they within the lotus stem. So we could consider, or at least try to appreciate the size of the lotus stem. Brahma goes down, and no matter how long he keeps traveling, he never comes to the end of the navel, or he never comes to the navel, which is the end of the stem. He's going lower, lower, and it seems like it's a never-ending story. So if we also try to find our source, find what we went to do according to our own ideas, we can go on and on and on and on and never come to a conclusion. Clearly, the universe has a certain size, 4 billion miles in diameter. At least Earth, which is the smallest, or rather, at least our universe, which is the smallest. So there's a limited size. And if Brahma is now going to go down to the lotus, logic tells me that he has to meet Mahavishnu. And he doesn't. Because the Lord does not want that to happen. That's not the way Brahma needs to get revelation. And it is not that easy without, as Prabhupada says, penances and perseverance. So you're not going to get it cheap. It's not going to be easy. There has to be sacrifice. You have to do something to achieve grace. So at least Brahma's trying. And let's see, he keeps going down, and he's wondering, like, does this come to an end? Like, I'm going down, okay, maybe one more. Let me try, let me keep going. I'm sure there'll be something. I mean, there has to be something. Logic tells me there has to be something down there. And just keeps and he keeps and he keeps and he keeps going, and there is no end. Let's hear what happens. Report. By dint of one's personal endeavor, one may go nearer to the Lord, but without the Lord's mercy, one cannot reach the ultimate point. So that's not how Krishna wants it. You're not getting Krishna's mercy, and that means you ain't getting anywhere close to Krishna. Such understanding of the Lord is possible only by devotional service, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 1855. Patyamama vijanati yavan yes chasmi tattva. So this is a very instructive lesson. Brahma's trying to find his source in a way that is not aligned to the process of understanding the source. And because it is not aligned with the process of understanding the source, he will never achieve the desired result, even though he spends energy and spends time. But he's not getting the results. So we should be convinced not to waste our time and not to dissipate energy in directions that does not align to how the Lord wants us to know him. Yes, you're free to do that, but if you're intelligent, you will understand, why should I waste my time? If I know what I want, let me just strive for that according to the prescribed process. Then I'll achieve the desired results. 20. Tamasya pare viduratma sargam vichinvato buddh samaham trinemi yo deha bhajams bhayam hirayana parikshinotyayur ajasye yeti. O Vidura, while searching in that way about his existence, Brahma reached his ultimate time. which is the eternal wheel, in the hand of Vishnu, and which generates fear in the mind of the living entity, like the fear of death. So Brahma's coming down and he had an experience. The experience was that he reached a certain point, which is the eternal wheel in the hand of Vishnu, which generates fear in the mind of living entity like fear of death. So as Brahma was coming down, he's getting an experience. This doesn't seem to be right. 21. Tato nivritto pratilabdha kamam swadishyan ashadya puna sadeva sanerjita swasha nirvritta chitta nyasidat aruda samadhi yoga. Thereafter, being unable to achieve the desired destination, he retired from such searching and came back again to the top of the lotus, thus controlling all objectives. He concentrated his mind on the Supreme Lord. So as Brahma was coming down, he is not finding the end, but now there's some fear in his heart. Like, I think I'm moving in the wrong direction. I don't think this is right. Some fear, some realization, some inner tuition, some inner guidance tells him, don't think this is a good idea. Now, we also know from the first canto, he hears tapa, he hears the waves of the ocean, of the Garbha ocean, and the waves are making a sound, tapa, tapa, tapa. So he also gets a message that I think this is a sign. So then he comes back on top and he starts to concentrate his mind on the Supreme. This is the process. To try to remember the Supreme Lord, to try to focus on the Supreme Lord, to try to bring the Supreme Lord in the center of our consciousness. Samadhi involves concentrating the mind upon the supreme cause of all. Even if one is unaware of whether his actual nature is personal, impersonal, localized, concentration of the mind on the supreme is certainly a form of devotional service. Consider, Lord Brahma is there. Did he see Krishna? No. Does he know how Krishna looks? No. Does he know that Krishna is the source of everything? No. Does he know the form of Krishna? No. Does he know that there is the Paramatma, there's this impersonal feature? No. He has no clue. Okay? So if he has no clue, what is he meditating on? And here Prabhupada is emphasizing that samadhi means focusing and concentrating on the Supreme, even if you have no clue who the Supreme is. You just say, okay, Supreme, whoever you are. And you see so many, as so many even devotees who started on the path, coming from different traditions, at some point in their life, they wanted answers. So then they would just say, God, whoever you are, whatever you are, if you're out there, please guide me, please give me a clue. So many devotees have that experience. And all of a sudden, they see Hare Krishnas, they see somebody distributing a book, they somehow, Krishna sends them. So you don't need to know who the Supreme is, how the Supreme looks, even if you just address the Supreme as whoever you are out there. and you offer your prayer, you offer your request, Krishna hears that. Concentration of the mind on the Supreme is certainly a form of devotional service. To cease from personal sense endeavors and to concentrate on the Supreme cause is a sign of self-surrender. And when self-surrender is present, that is a sign, that is a sure sign of devotional service. Very wonderful and interesting statement by Srila Prabhupada. Consider Brahma, he started going down the lotus. He decided himself, and therefore he endeavored himself, which was not what Krishna wanted him to do. So he gets, as he's going down, he figures, I think, this doesn't feel right. So then he stops and he moves out, back. And then he starts to meditate on the Supreme, whoever that is, and probably saying to stop one's sense endeavors. When we think of a plan on our own that is not sanctioned by Hari Guru Vaishnavas, then that falls in the category of sense gratification. And when you stop that plan and start to concentrate on the Supreme, Prabhupada says that is self-surrender. You are stopping what you want and trying to get what the Lord wants so that you can endeavor on that path. That is called self-surrender. You are surrendering your own agenda for the pleasure of the Supreme's agenda. And that is what devotion is about. That is what Krishna consciousness is about. That is what bhakti is all about. Here we see Lord Brahma has no clue of Krishna yet. He has started his devotional service. What to talk about those who know Krishna, those who know what Krishna wants. So in the process of devotional service, we may have our own plans, but the more we align, the more we embrace the Lord's plan, the more we surrender to his plan, the more we self-surrender, the greater the sign of devotional service. Devotional service is not something, it's not a process, it's not what you want to do or how you want to do it. It's all about what does Krishna want, what pleases Krishna. And therefore there has to be the element of self-surrender. I need to give up myself to the Supreme. And yes, in the initial stages, one can still do something that also has your self-interest. But ultimately, pure devotional service means whatever Krishna wants. Each and every living entity needs to engage in devotional service to the Lord if he wishes to understand the ultimate cause of his existence. So this is the sign, this is the secret, this is the solution. No other option. There is no karma, there is no gyan, there is no yoga, nothing besides devotional service. 22. Kalena soja purusha yushadi pravrata yogena viruda lobha swayam tad antar hridaye vabatam pasyata yan napurvam. At the end of Brahma's 100 years, when his meditation was complete, he developed the required knowledge, and as a result, he could see in his heart the Supreme within himself, whom he could not see before with the greatest endeavor. After his meditation, now he had darshan of Krishna, and we know in Brahma Samhita also, when Krishna reveals himself to Brahma, and Brahma starts to glorify Krishna, recites Brahma Samhita. So this is how he perfected his life. Purport. The Supreme Lord can be experienced only through the process of devotional service and not by one's personal endeavor in mental speculation. The age of Brahma is calculated in terms of Divya Yugas, which are distinct from the solar years of human beings. The Divya years are calculated in Bhagavad Gita 8:17. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yet Brahmano Vidu. Brahma's one day is equal to 1,000 times the aggregate of 4 yugas, calculated to be 4,300,000 years. On that basis, Brahma meditated for 100 years before he could understand the supreme cause of all causes. And then he wrote the Brahma Samhita, which is approved and recognized by Lord Chaitanya, and in which he sings, Kovinam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. One has to wait for the mercy of the Lord before one can either render service unto him or know him as he is. So, here we see Lord Brahma meditating, not 1, not 2 years, not 10 years, not 30 years, not 50, not 100, not 1,000. If you have to look at it from our calculation, which is impossible, it's practically like 311 trillion, 40 billion years. So the first lesson is, it's not cheap. Sometimes we think, okay, I'm chanted 50 years and I should be a pure devotee, or 100 years and I should be a pure devotee. Brahma is the most pious. Consider, out of all the infinite number of living entities that are in this universe, Brahma is the most pious. He has the most amount of credits for qualification. And yet, he had to meditate for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So lesson number 1, however long it takes, Prabhupada at the end says, one has to wait for the mercy of the Lord. See, our nature is, we are thinking we in control. We are the controllers, the proprietors. And because we thinking we are the controllers, we automatically bring that into the process to say, okay, I've been chanting for so many years and now I must get X, Y, and Z. This is the challenge. When you give up self-surrender, when you give up your ideas, your controlling propensity. Ivan's question was, I added in the chat, does self-surrender also imply that a person acknowledges his or her temporary nature of the body and hence surrenders that which is eternal? So self-surrender means I'm giving up my personal endeavor or my personal agenda or my personal way of thinking, my agenda, my goal, my way, my idea of how to achieve Krishna's mercy. Irrelevant in terms of whether it's on the bodily platform or spiritual platform. Like in this case, if I had my way, I'm meditating for 1 year, Krishna, please, come on now, man. Wherever you are, God, supreme source, come on. You need to give me some revelation. Brahma, he gave up. So consider, initially, he was endeavoring himself according to what he thought may have been the best option. Okay, if this lotus is, if I'm on this lotus, clearly there has to be a base. Let me go and try it. So that's logical, and he's endeavoring, but it's his way. It's not Krishna's way. And he didn't achieve success. So now when he gave up his way, starts to meditate on the Lord, he's also giving up his, let's say, his way or his timeline. He's taken to the correct process, but he's also not attached or not adding his own obstacle in terms of, yes, so I'm engaging in this process and therefore I want this result, or I want it in this time frame, or I want it like this. He's giving up all aspects of self ideas or concepts or goals or views or desires. I am simply going to think of Krishna, meditate on the Supreme, and leave it up to the Lord. This is self-surrender. If we see Srila Prabhupada going to America, Prabhupada jumps on the ship, has no clue on what's going to happen on the other side. All he knows is he needs to do this because that's the order he received. How it's going to happen, what's going to happen, he has no clue. And then he writes that song, my Lord, make me dance, make me dance. I make my words come true and powerfully to impact the souls here, because I have no clue. That is self-surrender. Not the idea of not endeavoring. See, Brahma didn't just say, okay, I'm sitting here now, wait, come on. Hey, whoever you are, can we get some revelations? Nope. Prabhupada didn't sit in Vrindavan and say, okay, let's achieve it. Let me fly. Let me disappear and appear and everything's manifested, mystically. No. Endeavor has to be there. Work, hard work, labor, effort, perseverance, patience has to be there. This is how Krishna sees. So we have to endeavor. We have to put the effort. And then we have to surrender to Krishna. And what is that surrender? One has to wait for his mercy before one can either render service unto him directly or know him. Krishna will reveal himself to us. We simply have to give ourselves and continue to give ourselves and then wait until Krishna responds. When will he respond? We already read also in the second canto, Prabhupada writes, when Krishna is sufficiently pleased. Yes, the fact that you think of Krishna, Krishna is pleased. But he's not pleased enough to reveal. He's not pleased enough for revelation. For revelation, some effort has to be there. Linikanta and Hemavati says, reminds us of Draupadi how she surrendered completely to the Lord and Krishna protected. Yes. Giving ourselves to Krishna. Ivan says, how do we recognize the Lord's mercy and grace? As you indicated, we could be engaged for a long time, yet be unsuccessful in progressing towards Krishna consciousness. So different ways. One, for example, Prabhupada writes that the more you know about Krishna means you are getting Krishna's mercy. The more you know about Krishna means you're getting Krishna's mercy. The more you're learning, just like if somebody had to ask you, if you had to meet a Christian friend and you both began to discuss about God, and you found yourself sharing so much about God. Like Prabhupada says, we know how he looks. We know what he wears. We know what he likes. We know his associates. We know his name. We know his address. We know his telephone number. We know his favorite foods. We know his pastimes. It's a lot of information. And your Christian friend has 0.000000001%. God is the creator. God is the Father. God is kind, is merciful, is compassionate. That's it. Anything more? No. So if you compare what we know from, naturally by the mercy of Prabhupada, Parampara, to what they know, is chalk and cheese. Vast difference. That clearly indicates Krishna's. Then, as you're progressing on the path of Krishna consciousness, your heart is getting transformed. Yes, we have knowledge, but that knowledge is not just informing us. That knowledge is transforming us. It's purifying our hearts. We're seeing our material desires reduce. We're becoming more attached to the process of Krishna consciousness. What the rituals, the bad habits, or everything else that we had in our past is slowly getting loose. That means mercy and grace of Krishna. We're getting the association of devotees, grace and mercy of Krishna. You're able to chant his names, grace and mercy of Krishna. You're able to mold your life in Krishna consciousness, grace and mercy of Krishna. You're relishing the process of devotional service, hearing, chanting, kirtan, prasadas, devotional service, grace and mercy of Krishna. Slowly, as the holy name reveals its identity. That is mercy of Krishna. So this is how we can understand that we are bathing in the mercy and grace of Krishna. As we see proper writing here for Lord Brahma, that Krishna bestows his mercy and he gets revelation. And he's writing Brahma Samhita with that revelation. 23. Mrinala Gora Yata Sesha Bhoga Paryanka Ekam Purusham Sayanam Fanata Patrayuta Murdaratna Dubir Hatadwanta Yugantato Ye. Brahma could see that on the water there was a gigantic lotus-like white bedstead, and the body of Sheshanag, on which the personality of Godhead was lying alone. The whole atmosphere was illuminated by the rays of the jewels bedecking the hood of Sheshanag, and that illumination dissipated all the darkness of those regions. But hold on. Brahma did go down. He didn't see that. And he went quite down. So he went closer to the bedstead. He didn't see that. It was all dark still. And now all of a sudden, on the highest point where he's sitting, he can see all this. It's bright. It's illuminating. Anantashesh is there. The Lord is lying on that Anantashesh. Wow. This is called revelation. It's not like it wasn't there. It's not like the Lord wasn't there. Anantashesh wasn't there. It wasn't illuminating. It eternally exists there. It was existing. But the Lord did not reveal that to Brahma on the initial endeavor. But after the Lord was pleased with him, now he's able to see everything clearly. This is the same thing that will happen to us on the path of bhakti. We need to keep endeavoring until this point. How long? As long as it takes. 100 years, 100 lifetimes, 1,000,000,000 lifetimes, whatever it takes, up to Krishna. Prabhupada wants it 1 lifetime, up to Prabhupada, up to Krishna, whatever they want. We need to desire the revelation. We need to endeavor with that desire, intensely endeavor for the revelation. To the degree we endeavor with sincerity, to that degree Krishna responds. Krishna responds with everyone according to their endeavor. So if you want it sooner, it's up to you. If you want it later, it's up to you. It's according to the intensity of our endeavor. And it's not that I can intensely endeavor instantly. It takes time to cultivate sincerity, cultivate deep attachment to Krishna, cultivate regular devotional practice. It takes time. Therefore, you have to be patient. At least we're on the right path. At least we know what to do. At least we know what to expect. So we're on the right path. We have the process. We have the blessings. We just need to engage, have faith, and allow the process to work. 24. Preksha Shipantam Harito Paladre Sandhya Branive Niver Ururukma Murdana Ratno Dadaro Sadi Somanasya Vanashrajovenu Bhujangripangre. The luster of the transcendental body of the Lord mocked the beauty of the coral mountain. The coral mountain is very beautifully dressed by the evening sky, but the yellow dress of the Lord mocked its beauty. There is gold on the summit of the mountain, but the Lord's helmet, bedecked with jewels, mocked it. The mountains, waterfalls, and herbs, etc., with panorama of flowers, seemed like garlands, but the Lord's gigantic body and his hands and legs, decorated with jewels, pearls, tulsi leaves, and flower garlands, mocked the scene of the mountain. So Lord Brahma was blessed with the darshan of the Lord Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksai Vishnu, and the Lord looked beautiful, bedecked with wonderful jewels, garland, tulsi leaves, yellow dhoti, helmet. So he's seeing Krishna, or the form of Krishna in Vishnu form. He's seeing a person. He's getting full revelation. He's not dreaming, he's not thinking, he's not hallucinating, he's not speculating. He's seeing the Lord face to face. This is called revelation. Purport. The panoramic beauty of nature which strikes one with wonder may be taken as a perverted reflection of the transcendental body of the Lord. I'm going to read that again. The panoramic beauty of nature which strikes one with wonder may be taken as a perverted reflection of the transcendental body of the Lord. When we appreciate the beauty of nature, we should understand that that beauty of the beauty of nature that we see is a perverted reflection of the beauty of the Lord. So when we appreciate nature, we're appreciating the Lord's beauty. It's just that that's the perverted reflection. If that nature is so beautiful, how much more beautiful will be the Lord? One who is therefore attracted by the beauty of the Lord is no longer attracted by the beauty of the material nature, although he does not minimize its beauty. We appreciate the beauty of matter, of nature. And when we link it to Krishna, we then become very happy, or we become attached to Krishna's beauty. Bhagavad Gita 259 is described that one who is attracted by Param, the Supreme, is no longer attracted by anything inferior. 25. Ayamato vistara taswamana dehena loka traya sangrehena vichitra divya baranam sukhanam krita shriyat pashrita veshadeham. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness, and was properly ornamented. If Krishna's dress is unparalleled, how much more is his beauty? How much more is his personality? It's inconceivable. The beauty of Krishna, the glory of Krishna, the magnificence of Krishna. These are all out of this world. Purport. The length and breadth of the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead could only be measured by his own measurement because he is all-pervading throughout the complete cosmic manifestation. The beauty of the material nature is due to his personal beauty, and yet he is always magnificently dressed and ornamented to prove his transcendental variegatedness, which is so important in the advancement of spiritual knowledge. Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's personality, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's abode, Krishna's everything is variegated. Like, how many varieties of flowers do you think there are in the spiritual world? Infinite. Varieties of cows, varieties of fruits, varieties of personalities, varieties of relationships, varieties of services. It's the spiritual world. Inconceivable, unlimited variety. 26. Pumsam swakamaya vivikta margair abhyarchatam kama durgan grik padmam pradarshayantam kripayana kendu muya kabinan golicharupatram. The Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service free from material contamination. Such awards are for those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the transcendental rays from his moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared like the petals of a lotus flower. Bhagavad Vishnu was very pleased with Lord Brahma revealing his feet. So we pray, we hope that one day we also get this revelation of Krishna. Revelation of Radha and Krishna through the mercy of the holy name. Purport. The Lord fulfills the desires of everyone just as one desires. Pure devotees are interested in achieving the transcendental service of the Lord, which is non-different from him. Therefore, the Lord is the only desire of the pure devotees, and devotional service is the only spotless process for achieving his favor. Srila Rupa Goswami says in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.11 that pure devotional service is Jnana Karmadhyana Vritam. Pure devotional service is without any tinge of speculative knowledge and activities. Such devotional service is able to award the pure devotee the highest result, namely direct association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. According to Gopal Tapani Upanishad, the Lord showed one of the many thousands of petals of his lotus feet. It is said, Brahmanos sav ananvatar varatam medyatat stutta parardante so buddhyata gopavesha me purashtat avirbhavuva. After penetrating for millions of years, Lord Brahma could understand the transcendental form of the Lord as Sri Krishna in his dress as a cowherd boy, and thus he recorded his experience in Brahma Samhita in his famous prayer, Govindam Aripurusham Tam Ham Bhajami. 27. Mukhena lokar ke hare smitena parishpurat kundala manditena soyatinde na itenda daras bim sabasha pratyar hantam Suneshena Burva Surva. He also acknowledged the service of the devotees and vanquished their distress by his beautiful smile. The reflection of his face, decorated with earrings, was so pleasing because it dazzled with the rays from his lips and his beauty of his nose and eyebrows. Report. Devotional service to the Lord is very much obliging to him. There are many transcendentalists in different fields of spiritual activities, but devotional service to the Lord is unique. Devotees do not ask anything from the Lord in exchange for their service. Even the most desirable liberation is refused by the devotees. Although offered by the Lord, thus the Lord becomes a kind of debtor to the devotees, and he can only try to repay the devotee's service by his ever-enchanting smile. The devotees are ever satisfied by the smiling face of the Lord, and they become enlivened. And by seeing the devotee so enlivened, the Lord himself is further satisfied. So there is a continuous transcendental competition between the Lord and his devotees by such reciprocation of service and acknowledgement. 28. Kadamba Kinjalka Pishangava Shesha Vasasa Swalankritam Me Kalaya Nitambe Harena Channanta Danena Vatsa Srivatsa Vakshastalavala Pena. O my dear Vidura, the Lord's waist was covered with yellow cloth resembling the saffron dust of the kadamba flower, and it was encircled by a well-decorated belt. His chest was decorated with the Srivatsa markings and a necklace of unlimited value. 29. Paradya Keyura Mani Pravekha Paryastador Danda Sahasra Shakkam Avyaktamulam Bhuvanangripendram Ahindra Boger Avivittava Valsam. As the sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flowers and branches, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. He was the self-situated tree, the Lord of all others in the universe. And as a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, so the Lord's body was also covered by the hoods of Ananta. Purport. The word Avyakta Mulam is significant here. Generally, no one can see the roots of a tree. But as far as the Lord is concerned, he is the root of him. He is the root of himself, because there is no other separate cause of his standing but he himself. In the Vedas, it is said that the Lord is Swashraya. He is his own support, and there is no other support for him. Therefore, Avyakta means the Supreme Lord himself and no one else. 30. Characharoko Bhagavan Mahindram Ahindrabandam Salilopagodam Kirita Sahasra Hiranya Shringam Avirbhavat Kaustabhakat Ratnagarbham. Like a great mountain, the Lord stands as the abode of all moving and non-moving living entities. He is the friend of the snakes because Lord Ananta is his friend. As a mountain has thousands of golden petals, so the Lord was seen with thousands of golden helmets. So the Lord was seen with thousands of golden helmeted hoods of Ananta Naga. And as a mountain is sometimes filled with jewels, so also his transcendental body was fully decorated with valuable jewels. As a mountain is sometimes submerged in an ocean of water, so the Lord is sometimes submerged in the water of devastation. 31. Nivetam amnaya madhuvritta shreya Kirtimaya Vanamalaya Harim Surenduvayugna Agamam Tridamabi Parikramat Pradhanikair Durashadam. Lord Brahma, thus looking upon the Lord in the shape of a mountain, concluded that he was Hari, the personality of Godhead. He saw that the garlands of flowers on his chest glorified him with Vedic wisdom in sweet songs and looked very beautiful. He was protected by the Surashan wheel for fighting, and even the sun, moon, air, fire, etc. could not have access to him. 32. Taryeva tannabhisar sarashorajam Atmanam ambasha swashanam viyach cha dadarsha devo jagato vidarta nata paramloka vishargadishta drishti. When Lord Brahma, the maker of the universe, the maker of the universal destination, thus saw the Lord, he simultaneously glanced over creation. Lord Brahma saw the lake in the universe, saw the lake in Lord Vishnu's navel, and the lotus flower, as well as the devastating waters and the drying air and the sky, all became visible to him. 33. Sakaram bijam rajaso parakta Prajashish Vrikshana iyat eva drishtya Astod Vishargar bin Muktas Mukhastam idyam Avyaktavartmanya Viveshitat Viveshitatma Tatma. Lord Brahma, thus being surcharged with the motor passion, became inclined to create, and after seeing the 5 causes of creation indicated by the personality of God, that he began to offer his respectful prayers on the path of creative mentality. Purport. Even if one is in the material mode of passion to create something in the world, he has to take shelter of the Supreme for the necessary energy. That is the path of the successful termination of any attempt. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodaksai Vishnu. Vantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Bhaktivanta ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Are there any questions or comments? We heard wonderful description of Lord Brahma, his endeavor, and then he receives the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and beautiful description of Garbhodaksai Vishnu, who was there all along, but never revealed. When the Lord is pleased by our devotional service, revelation begins. Fana says, I was going to say, with regards to Krishna being free from Maya Shakti and naturally, explicably Bhakti Shakti at all emanations. So the Lord is free from Maya Shakti in the sense that he does not, even though that energy comes from him, so in that sense, it is not something that's separate, but Krishna does not directly interact with Maya Shakti. Krishna's expansions, like in the form of Sadashiva, which is Mahavishnu's glance, interact with Maya Shakti. And yes, all the potencies of Krishna are a manifestation of Srimati Radhavani, who is the mother of devotion. So in that sense, they all have the potency of bhakti, the potency of Srimati Radhavani. And they all are acting in their own capacity as they are designed by the Lord or manifested for a specific purpose, and they engage in that service. All energies of Krishna, including us, are coming from Krishna. And because we are coming from Krishna and we're expanding from Krishna, Krishna has a reason for that expansion of those energies. And therefore, all energies of Krishna ultimately are meant for serving Supreme Personality. Ivan says, a Christian and Muslims created from Brahma. What is the consequence of your answer? Nothing, the Lord, not noting that the Lord is the source of all creations. Yes, everything that we see in creation is coming from Brahma. He's the secondary creator. There is nothing outside that. So even atheists are created from Brahma, in a sense that they're not directly coming from Brahma, but Brahma's, he's doing this secondary engineering creation, and through that secondary engineering, all other aspects are engineered, both the divine and demonic, both all the modes, goodness, passion, ignorance, they all manifested from the creation of Brahma. And after that manifestation, then the permutation, ramification of all that is coming from Brahma. Nothing we see is manifested by chance or outside the control of the Supreme Lord. So in that sense, yes, as the secondary creator, just like it's not like Brahma is creating any specific category of individuals. No, Brahma is creating the facilities. And then the living entities, they take the facilities and then they create their destiny. So in that sense, there's the immediate cause and the efficient cause. Lord Brahma is providing the efficient, the ingredients, the facilities by Krishna's mercy. And then you are the immediate cause. Your desires, your actions, you basically also a creator. That's why it is described, we all creators. So we are creating in different capacities. Vasaraj Prabhu says, no need to speculate. If we understand the Bhagavatam, we get the real truth which provides level of fulfillment, enrichment, wisdom, vision, and confidence. Yes. If we just contemplate on our good fortune, we will see how fortunate we are. Because there are people out there, especially those who are caught up in the whirlpool of material existence, they're suffering. Thank you for a beautiful class, Hare Krishna. While reading Priya Bhagavatam Rita, we read a glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. It said, just as the ocean of milk is the greatest ocean, just as the ocean of milk is the greatest ocean, Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest devotional scripture, unfathomably deep. So wonderful as we read in text 18 today. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And here's the even most astounding thing. Just as we find Lord Brahma was trying to get revelation of his focus, and it wasn't revealed when Krishna became pleased with him through devotional service. Krishna revealed. Similarly, the Bhagavatam also is infinitely deep in revelation. You can get some revelation from the Bhagavatam, you can get more revelation from the Bhagavatam, you can get more revelation and greater revelation and deeper revelation, and the revelation can continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper with no limit. It's inconceivable. Mother Les says, Hare Krishna, thank you for so much for beautiful Krishna Katha and your clear explanation. I heard about Brahma's creation, but never so detailed before. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada and you for sharing this enlightened knowledge. The description of the size of Garbhodaksa Vishnu is so immense, and we are in the smallest universe. Exactly. I was trying to think of, just consider Brahma with 1,000,000 heads. Like, seriously? 1,000,000 times 4 billion diameters, 4 million miles in diameter. Brahma with 100 million heads. It's like, yeah. And the scientists are thinking they know it all. The description of the size of Garbhodaksa Vishnu is so immense, and we are smallest. My tiny mind can't grasp what size of the other Garbhodaksa Vishnu is in large universes. Then what to think about Karadaksa Vishnu? Impossibly large, so amazing. Thank you for yes. And the most amazing thing is, if I look with a telescope, I don't see anything. I see black hole. I see the black hole. Well, you're going to see black hole just like Brahma saw black hole, because you can't see it with your telescope. You need devotional service, not a telescope. Nalini Kanta it says, today's Ishwara Puri's disappearance day. Can you please share something with us about his glorious personality? So, so Ishwara Puri was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. And he had the good fortune to be the spiritual master of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when Ishwara Puri initiated Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gave him the Hare Krishna mantra, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, and he became mad. And then he went back to Ishwara Puri, spoke to Master and said, Gomaj, what mantra did you give me? I'm going crazy. I'm going wild. And his spiritual master was very pleased. Said, yes, that is the result. So by Prabhupada's mercy, we also have the same mantra. We need to embrace it and follow in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. We can also get the blessings and the mercy of the holy name, and we can also get the revelation like Brahman. Pray Prabhu Hare Krishna. Wonderful class on Srimad Bhagavatam certainly clears any doubts to develop our better understanding. Thank you. Rasaraj Prabhu. Question, text 33. Why is it said that Lord Brahma was surcharged with the mode of passion and not the mode of goodness, apart from knowing that he is in charge of mode of passion? We should be surcharged with goodness or intelligence and not passion. Yes. So Lord Brahma appears on the lotus, appears out of all the living entities with the greatest piety to become Lord Brahma. And Brahma is a post for creation. And to create, you need passion. See, you can't create in a mode of goodness. Consider, if I want to create something like a business, if I want to create a business, I can't be Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It's not going to work. And I can't be in a mode of destruction. Today is also Shivratri, I think. So you can't be in a mode of destruction, ignorance. You have to be in the mode of passion to create something. It's creative potency. So passion, creation. Take, for example, Prabhupada writes, Krishna was inciting Arjuna to fight. He was trying to incite Arjuna's anger and passion to fight. Because you can't fight in a mode of Shanti, Shanti, mode of goodness. You need some anger. So Brahma is the creator, therefore he needed the passionate power to create. Therefore he had to be in the mode of passion. He had to be incited with that passionate nature to create. Then to maintain, you need to be in a mode of goodness. Therefore, Vishnu takes that role. And then to destroy, you can't be Shanti and you can't have passion. You need to have this destructive force of ignorance, which is given, and you are empowered by Lord Shiva, who is in charge of that mode. So each one has to be in a specific mode to perform their specific function. The fact that Brahma is a pure devotee, given the revelation of the Supreme Lord, reciting Brahma Samhita, and a pure devotee with the mode of passion to create, that mode of passion to create is projected or used in the service of Krishna effectively. Okay, not for destruction. Now, normally, it's described that we also, every single one of us, were of Brahmas once upon a time. So we also went through that journey. And we also got infused with passion. But because we were not advanced or not pure, as like pure devotees, then we got influenced by that passion, thinking, oh, just see, I am Brahma. I'm in charge. I'm the creator. I'm powerful. I'm God. Like that. And as soon as you are influenced by that passion, you fall down. And that's how we fell, further and further and further. So we know that our Brahma in this universe is Haridas Thakur, pure devotee of the Lord. Okay, so that's that's why he was influenced by the mode of passion. Madhajana Siddhi Hare Krishna, thank you for making me understand these verses, as it was very confusing for me to understand them. Only a pleasure. At the mercy of Prabhupada. Thank you very much for everyone, for your presence, feedback, questions. Until next week, we will continue now with chapter 9. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Itai Gopramanande Vasaraj says, thank you for the wonderful answer. So the Lord, out of duty, is in a mode of passion, but he is spiritually situated in goodness. So yes, he's serving in the mode of passion, but spiritually situated in mode of goodness. As a pure devotee, he's situated just like you find Kshatriya kings. Consider Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj was a pure devotee. pure devotee, but yet he was engaged as a king, as a warrior. Warriors are in a mode of passion. So they can use mode of passion in the service of Krishna. Hanuman used mode of passion in the service of Lord Ram. Arjuna used mode of passion in the service of Krishna. So one can employ the modes, and when you employ the modes in the service of Krishna, then those modes don't bind you like normal. They actually are facilitating a higher experience of devotion. But you need to be in that mode to act. It looks like passion, but it does not act like passion in terms of binding. Like Prabhupada would become angry. For you to become angry, you need mode of ignorance, passion and anger, passion and ignorance. For Prabhupada would get angry, but we can understand his anger is not coming from the mode of the lower modes of material nature. Why? Because instantly Prabhupada is, Prabhupada would get angry, and then instantly, if another devotee comes, Prabhupada is interacting with the devotee like nothing happened. See, because it wasn't the material mode of passion that Prabhupada was under. But yes, he's influenced on the spiritual platform, but has to act in certain ways, and therefore we may say that he's using the mode of passion, in Brahma's case, for service of Krishna. And when he uses the mode of passion completely for the service of Krishna, not thinking he's the doer, understanding that this is all by the mercy of Krishna, then that passion does not bind him. It is not like the material passion. It is totally transcendental. Les Prabhu says, we left on a cliffhanger, waiting eagerly for chapter 9. Yes, let's see how the discussion progresses and how the life of Brahma progresses, and eventually how our life progresses to please Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you. Gwantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol.